Hello, and welcome to episode 21 of the Rules of Nerdquisition. Got it right on my first try. Always excited when that happens. As always, my name is Gretchen, and I am joined by my faithful first officer, Gilbert, the angry IT nerd. I would ask you how you're doing, but it feels like I just talked to you. Feels like we
I
just did
know.
this.
It's weird. It's so odd being
For
here on on the the rules of nerd position.
we're so geeky. We can't even get our own name right. Oh my gosh. We're so silly. Anyway, for those of you that don't know, we do tend to record episodes, usually a couple at a time. That way we can have time with our families and friends and all of our other myriad of projects that we have out there because I have my own personal project, my own personal podcast I'm going to be launching soon. Um, I
Yeah,
have we
excited to hear that. Excited to hear
Gilbert
it. Yes.
Gilbert and I are both on the Villains View every Sunday night. Gilbert is a co-host with Thomas the Villain on Superplex Party, and soon to be returning Plot A-Holes. All of these to be broadcast on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and GCPR Ghost Call Production Radio at gcpr.live. So we'll let you know all those unfolding events or developments as they come together. Other than that, we're jumping into yet another episode of the original series of Star Trek. This one is Court Martial.
Oh yes, court martial. We open up the scene here with Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk being sternly talking to. And then we
Sternly.
find out that some shenanigans has happened when they pass through a storm, and then apparently one of the crewmen died.
One of the crewmen
Bum,
died.
bum,
Yep.
bum.
It
And so now
was
there's a
records officer Benjamin Finney was in an ion pod, I guess, recording the storm that they were passing through. Now, Benjamin Finney was
mhm.
played by John Richard Webb. He went by his acting name of Richard Webb. He passed away on June 10th of 1993 at the age of 77. And I have maintained my kill to death ratio. It remains perfect.
Thank you, Gretchen, for keeping the dead people alive.
And keeping
All
the dead
right.
people alive.
But yeah, we open up to Kirk being on trial, and then we find out that the Enterprise passed through an ion storm, and while collecting data, that one of the crewmen died. Oh no. And so Kirk is being held responsible.
Right, because
He's telling his side.
apparently he didn't follow procedures. In fact, the was it Benjamin Finney, his daughter, um,
His yes, his daughter.
calls actually is titled Kirk, the man who killed my father.
Yes.
She's bitter. I
She
get it.
she's bitter, she's mad, she's angry, and totally
Tears
understand
ensue.
it.
Tears ensue.
And tears ensue, she starts yelling, she blaming him and totally get it, and because he's saying that he followed procedure and it was an accident, but the whole but their side of it is that he did not follow procedure. Shenanigans happened and he didn't follow, and he jettisoned early, which caused the death of the crewman.
Right.
So
And he before the trial starts, I mean, he goes into like a club on the starbase that they're having the court martial on.
yeah,
And
basically
people
like a
everyone's already made up
lounge.
their
Yeah,
everyone's already made up their mind.
yeah. They've
You know,
already
you did it.
yeah,
You
they've
did it.
already decided that, hey, you did it. You're responsible. You caused the death of a crewman. Say you should be court-martialed. You can't have you. And so they've already decided judge, jury, executioner, the whole nine. Kirk is there. He knows he's right. He knows he's in the right. He knows he did everything right. And he's just trying to be friendly, just wants to have a drink. and
Mhm.
everybody's just shunning him back and forth. And so things get heated a little bit. Things get heated, because yeah, he caused the death of a crewman, and that is a new. So then, as everything proceeds, Spock does more and more research, and then brings in the recording of the incident of everything that happened, and it shows that Kirk did not follow procedure. And Kirk is like, "Nah, man, nah, son, that did not happen. It did not happen that way.
Hmm.
That I followed procedure. It was a red alert, and then it happened. Not a yellow alert. Not the Nope. It was a red alert."
That's how he claims it happens. And it's
Mhm.
important to note that
And so
the
it's
JAG
important.
officer that's prosecuting Kirk is a former lover of his, a real Shaw. Like apparently the
Yeah.
relationship didn't work out. I can only imagine why. He was probably probably pulled a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, as he does with most women. And
So yeah. So she wanted to zig, and he zagged out.
he's acting.
So and
But yeah, she has
so
a
yeah,
cool little
she
scene with McCoy. She has a cool little scene with McCoy when he leaves that club and
yeah.
she meets McCoy, and McCoy's like, hey, they realize they're both friends of Kirk, and they're like, he's gonna need all the friends he can get. So
So yeah, because doesn't look good. Doesn't look good.
doesn't
And
look
so
good.
throughout the whole trial, Kirk is, defending himself, and he is talking with the whole crew and everybody, and he makes a statement to Spock to the effect of, maybe your next captain, you'll be able to beat him at chess. And which that somehow it sparked some kind of idea in Spock to play a game of chess. And then we see Spock playing chess, and then who busts in but good old Dr. McCoy. Just, Spock, what the hell are you doing? Just that whole type of thing, right? Because
Right. I'm a doctor, not a game show
I'm
host.
a I'm a doctor, not a I don't play chess. I'm a doctor.
It's
And
interesting too
so,
how as they're leading up to this, like even when Kirk is being like berated and in his commanding officers or it was in the Commodore's office, you know,
mhm,
like your time as captain has caused too much stress and you're wearing down. It's like, how long has he been captain of the Enterprise at this point? Maybe a year? Because I know they do
right,
insinuate that even though the series only lasted 3.5 seasons, they do insinuate that Kirk did complete a full 5 year
right,
mission.
right. So for all we know, it could be the missions are just 5 year intervals. So he could be in captain of Enterprise for like 7 years, 8 years, or something like that. So for all we know, because
Yeah,
he was serving on the Enterprise as a lieutenant. Well, according to Discovery, he
right.
was stationed on the Enterprise as a lieutenant at the time. So
Yes, that's
so yeah,
correct.
so yeah,
There's
he could have been there. Well, not in captain capacity, but yeah, he could have been stationed there for 10 plus years.
Are you a fan of the Discovery version of Kirk? Discovery slash oh, he's in Strange New Worlds
Mm,
too.
yeah, Strange New Worlds and Discovery.
Paul
I
Wesley.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's almost like he's trying a little too hard. I don't know because the way William Shatner was, because the way the Shat Man was, right?
He had a
He
flair about him.
he just there's some
His
kind
own
of a smoothness to him, and just that charm, and just come on, Spock. we got to go down into the surface here.
It
Well, what we have
seemed,
here, and it was just that kind of just of him saying absolutely nothing, but making it sound, making it sound good. And, he just says absolutely nothing.
and it
You
seems to
know,
me like the two different newer versions, the Chris Pine and the God, I just had his name, Paul Wesley. Is that what I said his name was? I can't remember now, but um,
mhm,
yeah, Paul Wesley. It
yeah,
seems like they both get certain aspects of Kirk's personality correct. And
right,
I'm not saying that anyone has to copy him perfectly. Whenever you're reprising a role that someone else portrayed for a long time, it's important for that actor to make that role their own. But there are certain things about
mm.
Kirk that I
That
just
just
feel
kind of
like
that are
need to
that
be
are
there.
traits of his that just need to be there throughout all iterations of Kirk. You know,
Right. And I think
like
you get those best iterations between Picard and Riker, because if you could take those two characters and merge them together, you get Kirk. You get
yes,
Picard with all the command
absolutely,
experience and diplomatic experience, and then Riker is the woman's man, the ladies' man, the
mhm,
fighter.
right, yeah, and I think Chris Pine kind of embodied the womanizer and the fighter more than
and
the
the rule
diplomat,
and the rule breaker.
right? At which Paul, oh, what's his name? Paul.
Wesley,
Oh my gosh, Paul
Paul
Wesley.
Wesley.
Yeah, where he does have the womanizing and the fighter traits, but he's more the diplomat side than rather the fighter. So there's that to me that's that little kind of distinguish between the two.
Yeah,
So it's a Paul's more the diplomat, where Chris is more the fighter.
correct.
But the
Yeah,
Shat Man was just all of those. So it's kind of hard again, like just like how you said, it's kind of hard to take a part that was made famous by someone else and to make it also to like pay homage, but at the same time make it your own.
no,
Yeah.
exactly. But we've seen that it's still possible as well, because you look at like the versions of Spock. You got the Zachary
Mhm.
Quinto version,
Right.
and then the Strange New Worlds version played by Ethan Peck. They have their own unique twists, but at the same time, I think they're both very reverent to the character
Right.
of Spock. Carl
Yes.
Urban as Dr. McCoy, like, you couldn't get more perfect than that, in my opinion.
Right. Exactly. So, and it just seems like, Carl Urban was just, and I get it at the time when, during the Kelvin universe, Star Trek times. I mean, that was, his, first assignment, first captain assignment for Kirk, and so he's a little bit younger, but still older. And
Right.
so he
Mhm.
still had that, and you can see where Carl Urban was, he was at that point, but he was still younger, but still like kind of older than the rest of them, but and was starting
He
to
was,
get into that whole gruff, that McCoy gruff of I'm a doctor, not a I'm a
yeah,
doctor, not a bricklayer. I'm a
he got the
doctor, not a
personality perfect, but yes, he was definitely a younger, more energetic McCoy.
right. And so yeah, he was, and you can see, and that's kind of how he played it. Just to still that cranky, but not quite that old man cranky. You know,
Right.
right? So
No,
so that
absolutely.
yeah, so and with Kirk saying the spark that Spock needed about playing chess, and then he plays chess against the computer and he wins. And everybody, I'm thinking to myself, it's like, why is that so significant?
what you up to,
And it's like,
Spock? What's going on in that Vulcan ticker of yours up
said,
there?
why is that so? Why is that so important that you beat the computer at chess? And then Spock says is that I programmed this myself to where the only way that at most at most I could be would be just a draw.
Be a draw.
That that's it. But I've beaten this 4 times in a row so far. And right then at and number 5 win, right when McCoy was watching, and he's like, somebody tampered with this because this is not right.
Something's not right because is this is after that we've already seen the footage of like Kirk pushing the yellow or the eject button when they were still at yellow alert and not
Mm-hmm.
like so.
Yeah.
So now we're starting to wonder: Is this footage been modified in some cases? Somebody framing Kirk? I mean,
Yes. And so now we've got a mystery. We've got another mystery. So
but even in the examination when
mhm,
Spock is being um, on the witness stand, he has to admit it's still just his opinion, I guess. Or was
right.
that's right before, and then he does no, he does the chess to prove the opinion.
Yeah.
Because at first he's just like, I think it's inaccurate. And they're like, can you prove that? Like, oh, so it's just an opinion.
So I think so, basically so I think it may have been tampered with. This is why I think it may have been. And so essentially Spock has to go out on a mission to find proof, like find actual legitimate proof that the computer has been tampered with. And through Spock's means of, just finding data, tracking down information, and just doing his whole detective work, he discovered that there has been some shenanigans with the computer. Somebody's done something. There's a fungus. Something is among us. We don't know what's going on. Something's happens.
Well, and we're learning other key details too throughout the prosecution that when Kirk was an ensign on the Republic, he made a log
Yeah.
entry that cost Finney a promotion. So it's like, hey,
Said, so hold up. So there may be some kind of reason behind this. And then, yeah, then we find out that and Finney's been harboring some kind of hard feelings about it because Finney feels like Kirk has took his job because
right.
he wanted to be captain of the Enterprise and he was on on track to be captain of the Enterprise until Kirk. And so now we see is that okay, now there's an actual solid motive that this he, something could have happened.
Absolutely.
And then the question is posed, who could have who could have access and who could have the knowledge and who could you know tamper with the computer. They said Spock, Kirk, and Lenny.
Finney.
Those are the 3 ones that could do it.
Yep. But Finney's dead.
But
Finney's dead.
but if Finney couldn't have done it, Finney couldn't have done it at all. He died out. He died out
Hey,
there.
and something I noticed while watching this episode, a question we had in the past about, you've got like the next generation that all the ships have counselors and stuff like that. Who's the counselor or psychologist or psychiatrist on the Enterprise during Kirk's era? We both suggested or postulated that it's probably McCoy, probably doubled as a role. Lieutenant Shaw, when
Right.
she's examining and questioning McCoy on the stand, actually asks him, if he, if he's an expert in like what did they say here, space psychology and mental
Space
effects of
psychology. Yes.
long-term space travel. And as he considers himself no expert, he does concede in response, I know something about it. So I think at this point, yes, he's probably the ship's counselor too, though. You can imagine
Yeah.
he'd be a very good psychiatrist.
I I'm not sure. I'm not sure. What kind of what kind of advice he could give
He's
that would
already got a questionable bedside manner for a doctor anyway.
right? So kind of like what kind of psychological advice could you give? I mean, go back to work. I was like, all right. And so then now it becomes a means of finding out whether or not, 100% sure has the computer been tampered with. And then throughout Spock's, now because now he has gotten attention, he's got everybody's support, he's able to do a deeper dive and finds out that, oh, yes, there's been shenanigans has been happening.
Shenanigans. Space shenanigans is happening. Because that's what we
Space
always get here.
shenanigans is happenings. It's all happenings everywhere.
Exactly.
So the space shenanigans, it's all going on, and we need to find out what's happening. And so Spock again comes up with the idea of, hmm, here's what we do. So
We're
we're
gonna
gonna
move
do
the
this. We're gonna take
investigation.
everybody out here.
We're gonna move the investigation from the starbase up to the ship, and then we're gonna
And then,
beam everybody down. Shut the
yeah,
ship
and then,
down.
then we're gonna
Get
shut
out of here.
everything down, and we're gonna do a scan.
And I don't
And
fully understand the scanner thing. I know back then props were kind of weird and what
I
have you.
know
It's
props
looks
were,
like
yeah, I
it
get
looks
it.
like
I
a
get it. It was
flashlight handle that they use to they turn on this noise and everyone's freaking out. They're like, "What is that noise? Oh my gosh!" It's like, and it's like all the heartbeats
uh,
of the people remaining on the ship. But then McCoy
they
walks
brought
around with
out a
this little,
disco mic.
yeah,
It
he
was
put
it
disco
was
mic.
they brought
McCoy
out a
walks around
disco
clicking
mic.
this thing and turning off everybody's hearts. Well, not
So
physically
essentially, it's
turning them
like
off.
I don't know the way you said it would work. That you would put it close to your heart, and it would, I guess, record how fast record your specific heartbeat, so that way it knew to eliminate that.
Yeah, you could
And it did
eliminate
that
it
with
from the
everybody.
recording.
And then the whatever sound was left, because again, everybody, all the rest of the crew had completely beamed off the ship, and so it was just the council, Spock, and Kirk, and I think was McCoy was there. Yeah, McCoy was there too.
Yeah, because he was the one doing the little
Yeah,
clicky clicky disco mic thingy to turn everybody's
yeah.
hearts off.
And so then we hear one single heartbeat, and then we figure it's Finney. Finney has to be alive. And now it goes for the search for Finney. Da, 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 da. And we go on the search for Finney throughout the ship. Where's Finney? Finney's down in the lower decks.
In the lower decks, he's in main
Not
engineering.
with not with the rest of the other lower decks crew because
Yeah,
they're not there.
not that
Not
crew.
not that
Right,
lower decks. This is before those lower decks. This is different lower decks.
right. And main engineering is where we'd learn, much to everybody's not so surprised, that Finney is
And
in fact not dead.
Finney is not dead, and exactly the reason
He's
why, because he holds a
he's
grudge,
mad.
because he hold that grudge because wait, Kirk took his job
Yep.
and he felt some kind of way about it.
Yeah,
It
he had
took
a
a
very,
while
very,
to,
very big
yeah, very
victim
big victim
complex
blaming.
going on here. Yeah. So,
Very,
the
very much
Enterprise should have been his. He's
said
mad. And then it's
this
bum,
is
bum,
my
bum,
job,
bum,
you took
bum,
my
bum, bum, bum,
job.
bum, bum. Roll, roll.
Absolutely.
We gotta have a battle of engineering. And
Drrrra, drrrra.
I'm sorry. They're pretty blatant about not caring that Shatner's stunt double looks nothing like him.
Right?
Nothing like him at all. Like they'd have scenes where he's like standing there and you could see him from a distance. And with the upgraded remastered versions, when we can see everything in perfect clarity, it's like,
Yeah, it's like, come on, man.
who's that
At
dude?
at least at least try. At least yeah, try. Like,
I
come
don't have a
on.
lot. I don't have a whole lot of good to say about Tom Cruise, but Tom Cruise would have done them stunts himself. I'm just saying, he would have done them himself.
True. That
Jackie
that it,
Chan would have done them
he'd
himself.
done them himself.
Captain Jackie T. Kirk would have done them himself. Jackie C. Kirk.
But that'd be cool. They could have tried. They could have done something. Somebody could have done something. I mean, that there wasn't nobody that just like, said, you sure this gonna work? I mean, they don't look nothing alike, man. Like, not at all. Like, I mean, not at
Yeah,
all at all.
not at all, not at all. But you can't have an episode of Star Trek. At least, I mean, there are some, but in most episodes of the original series, you gotta have Kirk get into a fight with somebody.
Of course,
So
Kirk's gotta get into a fight.
with somebody, and Finney is like mad. He's like, I'm not just mad at you. I'm gonna blow the whole ship up. We're all done.
Yeah,
I'm killing everybody.
yeah, he was kind of like, I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk, the way that you he's the biggest hater. Oh, Fitty was like hating so much on Kirk. Hated so much on Kirk that he was willing to blow up the Enterprise, faked his own death.
Fake his
See,
death.
that you know how you know how long that you had to plan that out. Like just and here's the thing, you would have to plan out like different scenarios because that's just not a oh snap, I could do this right. No, you have to plan different kind of scenarios out of what you would do and how you would do this.
I
So
do have to go on record as stating that it sure does seem like blowing up the Enterprise is easily a one-man job if you've got the right motivation.
exactly. I mean,
I can just push these couple of buttons. I mean, Riley did it when he was freaking out and singing in engineering. He almost blew up the Enterprise. Benny's up
yeah,
here about to blow up the Enterprise. I understand like self-destruct, but that even takes like, three different command level officers to go through the whole,
they need to have
code one, 1A, 2B sort of thing.
they
Like,
need to have
come on.
they need to have a better process on putting people in engineering. That's all I got to say. Because
But Kirk's attorney is no slouch, and he kind of turns the tables on Finney by bringing Finney's daughter up on the ship.
yeah,
Like,
and
and
then
then Kirk is like, "Hey, bro, you
said, you
kill your daughter too?"
look right, look behind you, look behind you, bro, look behind you, bro, look behind you, bro, look. And then yeah, and then he realizes when he sees his daughter, he realizes that he effed up.
You have to, and he can't do it. He can't do it, of course. So reveals to Kirk his fabulous one-man plan for blowing up the Enterprise. The Enterprise is saved once again when Kirk climbs into the Jeffries tube and does his little repairs and fixes the ship. So that's just it still just
Yep.
seems to me though. I mean, like even these days, if you wanted to harm someone, and we're not endorsing this at all, ladies, gentlemen, and all those in between, but even trying to like sabotage a car to harm somebody, it's not as easy as you think it is. You don't just go
Mm-hmm.
push a couple buttons and that's it. I mean,
Right.
it just I don't know. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. But again, it's a plot device to get us where we got to go, and we can't have an episode without a Kirk fight or the Enterprise
True.
and mortal peril or
True.
mortal peril, and, and
True.
even further, we'll get the little little kissy scene at the end too. So after Kirk is freed
Yeah.
and his attorney goes off to um, take care of Finney and defend him in his
Right.
trial now. 'Cause, bro, you tried to
Because
frame and kill Kirk and everybody on board and blow up the ship. And
so yeah, does not look good for Finney. It that something like that that has to open up some kind of just standard or precipice or just something. I need to look out for these kind of behavior or this kind of situation because we can't have people like kind of out in space putting people, the whole crew's lives in hand, their lives, in danger because of one dude that has a grudge, you know. So it's like maybe it may have opened up a better vetting process um,
Yeah,
for
pro
engineering,
probably wouldn't be a bad idea. And I would think that I know that Earth is a unified government and we live mostly at peace, but I would still think that there would be some severe security in certain areas of
right?
the ship. Like, you
Yeah.
know, I was thinking about, I mean, it doesn't really have anything to do with it, but like thinking about Star Trek 4 when Chekhov and Uhura beam into the USS Enterprise, the aircraft carrier, the USS Enterprise, to down to
Hmm.
steal the nuclear photons or whatever. Now, obviously, they beamed in, so it was easy. But you wouldn't just walk onto a ship like that, even if you were
No,
stationed on the ship. If you're not a nuclear officer, someone who's trained to do this, you're not getting near the reactor of a nuclear powered aircraft carrier.
right. Yeah. I mean,
You just
it's
not. If
just,
you're a radar tech on the bridge, you ain't going down to the nuclear reactor. Sorry.
yeah, no, because I mean, you don't know what you're doing. Don't touch anything. You don't have no business down there. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
And, oh, but he's bad.
He
Like
was mad. He was mad.
he was holding on to that, and he obviously he had this whole, well, like I said, he definitely had it planned out, had different kind of scenarios in mind of how he would accomplish it, and this whole thing, he may have even started this whole um just going out and collecting data like that in storms like that. And saying like, yeah, I'll do it, and setting a standard of him doing that, and then just so he could set Kirk up like that,
Yeah, I mean, I,
because
I I question why they would have asked Kirk, like, because Finney hated you for what you did to him, which robbed him of his promotion, or what actually Shaw
mhm,
was asking McCoy that. She was like, do you think that in return Kirk would hate Finney? And of course McCoy's like, well, no, Kirk is not that kind of man, but I don't
right.
necessarily understand the logic of that question. I wouldn't, why would
So why would
you
Kirk be mad? Because it didn't affect him. I mean, it
but
did affect him because he got captain of the Enterprise, and what's to
I could
say
see him being
that,
a little arrogant about it, but I mean,
yeah,
I would be arrogant too of being the youngest Starfleet captain in history, but
right, be the youngest Starfleet captain on the Starfleet's flagship.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'd be a cocky, arrogant prick too.
Yes, I
Not
would.
gonna lie.
But Shaw and McCoy had some of the best interactions. I loved the scene when she was, examining him on the witness stand, and he had one of the best lines when they're in that little club at the beginning, the bar, lounge, whatever that was, and Kirk had already left, and McCoy says to her, he said, "All of my old friends look like doctors. All of his, meaning Kirk's, look like you." And as anyone can guess, Shaw is a young, attractive, blonde woman, very pretty, very much Kirk's type.
Of course, because that's Kirk. That's Kirk.
Kirk.
He's Captain Kirk's going to do what Captain Kirk's going to do, and
Captain
that's
Kirk
going
is
to
gonna
be
Kirk.
that's going to be anything that looks good and smells good. I guess.
Yep. Captain Kirk will always Captain Kirk. That's just what he
Yeah.
does. But I also liked Elijah Cook. He played Kirk's attorney, Sam Coogley. I thought he was Cogley. He was a Pretty good actor. I
Oh
liked
yeah.
him because it was so funny. You're watching this episode, and you're like, he's not cross-examining anybody. like,
He's
like
like, what
what are you
what
doing?
are you doing, man?
Are you going to
And
ask
then it
any
gets to a
questions?
point where he says, like, I gotta leave, but I'll be back. What? I wait, hold up. Wait, what kind of lawyer just leaves and just leaves his client there and says, hey, look here. I know this is going on. Um, I gotta run out real quick, but I'll be right back. Give me about 2, 3 hours. Wait, what?
Right. Yeah. When he, I
And
get it. And
he just dipped out and it's like, hold up, man. Did
and
this your client, dude?
he was very McCoyish in his, I guess, disdain for technology. Like he had like
Mm-hmm.
law books, like I don't know about today, but like the first lawyer's office I ever went into, they've got all the books of law like in a huge bookshelf covering wall upon wall in their office. It's just like always makes me wonder when they say ignorance of the law is no excuse. I'm like, how am I supposed to know all of this?
Right? Because like, how am I supposed to know the this one obscure law of like, from 1 AD, you know, like from year one to year one, hour one, minute one from over 3,000 years ago. It's like I was supposed to know that.
I know. I
Come on,
mean,
man.
everyone gets the basics, right? Like, we don't kill, we don't steal, you don't covet thy neighbor's wife if you want to get into like the Ten Commandments. But I mean, like in Connecticut, there's a law that says that pickles must bounce. What if my pickles don't bounce? How was I supposed to
Right?
know without Googling that pickles in Connecticut must bounce?
Right again.
Someone
Like
explain this to
what
me.
like explain that. Like what what
And
led up to that becoming a law?
and let me just say this. I know was kind of a side note for for this show particularly, but do you know why JD Vance lives in Ohio and not Colorado? There's a law in Colorado you're not allowed to have couches outside. So he can't go on any family vacations with his furniture. I'm sorry, I had to go there. I had to go there.
Oh my god. I swear that's the funniest thing that may or may not be even true.
Oh,
But
well,
still, even if it's not true,
you
even if
cannot
it's not
swear
true,
and
that's still the
drive.
funniest thing.
You cannot swear and drive in Maryland. I'm pretty sure I've broken that law. Anyway. Oh, but yeah,
But
I'm
yeah, it so yeah, this episode was it was a mystery. It was
the
a
mystery
murder.
pretty straightforward as far as episode.
Yeah,
Another one that didn't have a lot of nuance to it. There was a little bit of mystery, but pretty much to the point. It wasn't like
yeah,
last episode, tomorrow's yesterday, super complex, so many layers to it. Just like, huh?
yeah, and pretty much with tomorrow's tomorrow's yesterday, it was pretty much space magic. That's the only way you could just kind of say it, space magic. And
Yep.
again, with this one, it was a mystery, but it was like again, just like how you said, it was pretty straightforward. So
In a
and it was
nutshell, Kirk was accused of a crime. Kirk pulled a Shaggy, said it wasn't me. They said, prove it. They proved it.
and
And
then
now Cogley
and then
stays in
again, here we
business because
go.
now he's got a new client who faked his
Yeah,
death and tried to blow up the Enterprise.
exactly. So and at the end, Finney said he would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling Vulcans
You pesky kids.
pesky kids, and then you meddling Vulcan. you know.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too.
Oh,
Oh yeah, pretty straightforward. I mean, I don't know. It's an okay episode. It's a little bit of a snoozer, in my
it
opinion.
was a
The mystery wasn't that deep.
yeah, it
Even
was a meh. I mean, it was just pretty much like ah,
we all knew it was
there was a
coming.
reason why because as soon as he said oh well he Kirk Kirk reported him for something. He didn't get the promotion, and he's harboring feelings and blah blah blah. So it's like, oh yeah, he set the whole thing up. He did it, set the whole thing up, and now it's just a matter of finding out where he is at, if he actually is dead, or if he is hiding, or if he just is waiting to pop out until like at the end it said, ah, surprise, bitch, gotcha, and then
By the time that they had revealed that Finney held a grudge against Kirk for not getting a promotion, I was like, that dude's not dead. I mean, I'm
yeah,
talking way back when I'm like, he's not dead. And he did it. Of course, he's mad at Kirk. Who wouldn't be mad at Kirk? Kirk is
yeah,
Starfleet's golden boy. Even breaking all
absolutely.
them rules, he's the golden boy. He saves once again, we've saved the world as we know it. He's just
Absolutely. So it's like, and I feel fine. So
I feel fine. Yeah, but again, it's okay. Like I said, not too much of a mystery. It's pretty telling.
yeah,
Obviously,
it just
spoilers to nobody who's seen to anyone who's seen this episode, which is probably like nobody, unless you just don't like Star
yeah,
Trek. Obviously, Kirk goes on to have a much more even more storied career.
right. So it was pretty much kind of a formulaic episode. Just Spock does Spock stuff. Kirk gets into a fight and tied everything up with a nice, neat little bow, and Enterprise is off into the I
Back
want to
off
say
on
sunset to
back
the
off on
to the
mission. Yeah,
back up on the mission. Up
back to the 5 year
out
mission and exploring
out to
space. Yes.
the next black job, a black star.
Boldly going where no black job has gone before. But hey,
That
we've already proven Avery Brooks already proved to us that Starfleet captain is definitely a black job.
is true. That
He
is
was,
very, very true.
and he did it in stunning fashion. I cannot wait. I love the original series. I do, but and I love the movies. I can't wait till we do those. But I can't wait to get. I
To get
always say it,
into like
the
next
big
gen
three,
and
the big
like
three.
yeah,
That's what I really want to talk about because I just love those three series so much, and there's each one is so unique in its own and its overall story arcs.
yeah,
So those
just
are
their
going to
own
be great.
story, the character arcs, and even just uh like minor character side stories, you know,
Hmm.
yeah, and just between
I'm
next gen, DS9, and Voyager and Enterprise, and oh yeah,
I am still
yeah,
angry that we never got more episodes with Robin Luffler, played by Ashley Judd. Oh my gosh, I loved Robin Luffler so much. Oh, I had such a crush on her. Who doesn't have a crush on Ashley Judd though? I mean, I don't know how old
right,
she is now, but she's still gorgeous. I mean, come on. Honey, do you
right.
age? Do you
Like I
age?
mean,
What's happening here? Oh,
like I
anyway.
mean,
Yeah, it was good.
she probably encased herself in plastic. That's why she doesn't. She still looks the same, just doesn't age.
I like how in the big three, like you were alluding to, we get a lot more stories with side characters that return repeatedly. Get Barkley, we get hell, even Morn from Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
The Norm from Cheers' namesake, who never even talks, but had
right.
history and backstory and like, you know, we saw like what was it? We are talking about Riley on the Enterprise. He only appeared in 2 episodes. I would have liked to have seen
Hmm.
more regular side characters, even if they just walked past
Even
in
just
the
like walking
background
past,
sometime.
or just in the background, or a line or two, but yeah.
And
Yeah.
in some ways, when you're replacing an actor all the time or a character all the time, that works. I once pondered the idea of writing a sitcom about some line cooks in a restaurant. And you'd have like 2 or 3 main line cooks, and then there'd be one position, probably your fry guy, and it'd be a new guy every week. Because you can never keep your fry guy. Your fry guy will work 3 days, he'd quit. I'm out, I'm done. I quit. I thought that
So
was an interesting gimmick,
like Alice's Diner.
like Alice's Diner, that's the, but that's a different
but
kind of
but
different kind of restaurant.
so okay.
I'm thinking like a casual diner like Applebee's or something.
Ah,
And
so like waiting.
I served almost 7 years. I mean, I worked
So
there for
like
almost
waiting.
7 years. I've never seen that. But that was a movie though, right? It wasn't
Yeah,
a TV
it was a
show.
movie. Ryan Reynolds, I
Yeah, I
believe.
think Ryan Reynolds was in it. Yeah, again, never saw it, but
Yeah,
I'm
I've
not
seen
gonna
clips of
alienate
it. I've seen clips of it. I've never seen the whole thing though.
I'm not gonna alienate our audience here and get into my opinions about Ryan Reynolds. I have already gotten too much pushback for that. But
No, please don't tell me it. No.
I don't dislike him, and I thought he was fabulous in Detective Pikachu. Yep.
Oh, gas. Oh, but you do know that actually that uh Deadpool. I want to say that one of the writers actually kind of after a while, I want to say actually started to like evolve the character to kind of mimic Ryan Reynolds because it was because Ryan Reynolds was you know
Well, I'm gonna make
did the
comic
perfect
fans
point
mad. I'm gonna make
was
comic fans mad. I think Ryan Reynolds is perfect for the role of Deadpool. I just think Deadpool is overrated. I don't never really cared for the character myself. Just doesn't appeal to me. Am I hurting you? Am I hurting you
no.
today?
No,
I'm
no, no,
sorry.
no, no, not at all. I mean,
And he's
it is
he's a
that's
wisecrack. He's invincible and he's a wisecracker. I mean, okay, cool,
yeah,
cool. That's neat. I'm still going to go see Deadpool and Wolverine. I haven't seen it yet, but as I stated in previous
yeah.
episodes, spoilers
Same
ain't a
here.
thing for me. I already know what's going to happen. I already read through the plot. I know what happens. I was like,
Oh yeah, same here. Yeah.
day after, I was like, Deadpool, Wolverine cameos. Well, I got to know who's in it. I know everybody
Yeah.
who's in it.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I'm gonna go see it,
Yeah, of
but
course, absolutely. Just haven't had a chance to get out. Now, we're going to be doing an episode. We don't have an official schedule yet, but we're going to be doing an episode coming up. The next episode of TOS is Space Seed, the
Space Seed. Yes.
introduction of Khan Noonien Singh, and Thomas the Villain will be joining us on that episode as our special guest. But we are also working on getting some guests on the show that are involved with the production of the audio drama Helios, which was written and produced by Steve Warneck, has been on our show a couple shows back. Wonderful guy. Gilbert and I both talked to him. He's getting some people
Yeah.
together to come on our show, and we're very excited to talk to them. We both have listened to and love Helios. It's not out for public consumption yet. Oh my gosh, kiddos, when it comes out, going to love it.
Promise you. Guarantee you.
Promise.
I
Promise you.
guarantee you. Guarantee you. Because
I
and
love
again
it
with
so much that I
you
am
know,
willing to just plug it again and again without
oh yeah,
any
absolutely.
expectation
So for
of return.
everybody, I definitely urge you, go listen to that show with Steve Warneck because not only you will hear just about his time in behind the scenes of writing his episode for Deep Space Nine, not only just you know the whole effort he went through in pitching his episode from the originals, from Next Gen to having it picked up in Deep Space Nine, and you know, um, having involvement with uh, actors in Enterprise, and doing his passion project with Helios. Definitely watch it, and I guarantee you'll definitely love that episode.
Yeah,
Steve,
absolutely.
awesome guy. He's a great guy. Helios, you will definitely love it. If
You
you
can
love
check them out at
post-apocalyptic dramas, you will love Helios.
and you can check them out at roguemoonproductions.com. That is their
Yeah.
website. And they also have an official Facebook page. So you can check them out there as well. But
Yep.
super excited for the full first season to be released and
So yes, and
get a little more than
should
the teaser that we've gotten so far. Can't really talk
right.
about it yet, but we have joked
So
about maybe turning this into a Helios podcast. It's that good. It's
yeah.
that good.
So so hopefully should be hopefully Steve and his crew will be releasing it soon, because you know he needs to get back to work so he could finish it up, because we need the second season, and we need the third and fourth and the fifth. You know, Steve, you gotta get on it. Get on it.
And you can go back and you can go back and check them in because I know we tell you all the time that we broadcast live on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and we're going to be airing episodes on Ghost Call Production Radio at gcpr.live. But also, we do post our episodes for um, archive them on our Rules of Nerdquisition page over on Spotify. If you go back and listen to the episode, special guest episode, Labor of Love, we don't really talk much Star Trek except for the episode that Steve Warnack wrote and Warnack. I always say Warnack. Sorry, Steve. But that episode, he just lays it all out for you. And he talks about it far better than we can. So it's his
Oh
baby.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so
Fabulous people
yeah.
involved as well. So
Oh yeah. So hopefully in the again in the coming weeks when Helios has been fully done and finished, you know, Steve will grace us with his presence again. And yeah, he'll
we'll throw a launch party episode for you.
right, absolutely. Absolutely. That sounds yeah, sounds perfect. Sounds like perfect plan.
But this episode and the last episode, episode 20, which we talked about tomorrow is yesterday, and today's court martial, where we get sidetracked as always. But that's what we do when you put
So,
two people with ADHD on a podcast. We inevitably get off track. But they will be
so
on
of course, I
Spotify
mean
later
we
this evening for your
and it's
listening
only
pleasure.
and I can guarantee it'll get better, worse, somewhere in
So
between when
it's
when uh
always better when we have
when
people
Thomas
like
comes on. But guaranteed, you'll definitely probably be laughing. Thomas will definitely entertain you. You will be laughing.
I,
And
I
so
have
looking
thoughts
forward to
about.
that episode.
Yes, because that's the introduction of Khan Noonien Singh. And I have questions about Khan Noonien Singh doing the old Mr. Miyagi breathing technique.
He's
But
breaking
we
ice.
will break an ice. Yeah. We will definitely talk to all of you then. Again, today's episodes 20 and 21 will be on Spotify later this evening. I'm Gretchen. As always, I say live long and prosper.
And
Gilbert, take us home.
I leave you all with my same message as everyone. Remember to keep your triple spayed and neutered. Live long and prosper. Take care.
Bye, everyone.